Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and this is your Geek Out for today. According to the free Locker Gnome app available for iOS and Android, thanks to mobileroadie.com, our top engager today is, Edric Vasquez. Congratulations, thank you for participating. Ooh, looks like he's got 4 badges, including a golden thumb. Wow. We appreciate that. This mustache, by the way, was one of the gifts within the Loot Crate box that I opened yesterday. I've been having a lot of fun with this. What do you mean I have a unibrow? Tracking UPS. Package recipients now have the power of choice. So now, you as a customer, someone who's receiving a UPS package, can be promised a 2-hour slot chosen by you, during which time the package would be delivered. And then you also have the option to provide additional instructions to the driver, such as where to leave the package. It's about time. Steam. It isn't just for games anymore. You can download apps on Steam. Non-game apps. I have a feeling it's because Windows 8 is right around the corner, and some people at Steam aren't very happy about the new certification process with the Windows 8 App Store, or whatever Microsoft's calling it, the store, the Microsoft Store, the Windows Store, where you can get apps on some official basis. What's interesting, though, about Steam is that, remember, it's cross-platform. So, getting an app here could be the same that you get an app that is available on an alternate platform, whichever one you're not using. Steam. Not just a great song by Peter Gabriel. Podcasting. What can you learn from interviewing entrepreneurs? I actually receive a few requests for interviews, and I turn down most of them, unfortunately, because a lot of the people who want to interview me haven't really had a lot of experience with interviewing, and it just becomes painful to experience with them. But I have met people who can interview well. In fact, I am going to be taking up someone local on an opportunity to be interviewed. I'm going to have her out to the house, and I think I'm going to set up the camera much like this, and she's going to interview me and ask me questions that I may never have answered before. And by the way, speaking of podcasting, we updated the Locker Gnome app last night, so all of our podcasts are available from within the app. So as you're browsing around the app, you want to listen, you just press. You can't really press anything anymore. You tap the play button, and it'll start playing back. Cool, huh? What is the best iPhone 5 US carrier? I'm going to be interested in your responses on this one. I've certainly seen the iPhone perform on a variety of networks, and it's worked well, or seemingly well enough. It seems to be contingent on the network. I mean, yes, there's the cost and the customer service and the array of services. I think, though, beyond all that, if your iPhone doesn't work the way you expect it to work because the network isn't working the way you want it to work or need it to work, you may be living in the wrong area, and it may be time to switch to another carrier. Then again, you may be perfectly happy. It's completely relative. I'm actually interested in hearing about your experiences on this one. Social networking sites for diabetics. There's a social networking site for everybody. Now, I do not have diabetes, and I do feel bad for those who do, because I can only imagine how inconvenient it is. I've done my best to monitor my health, at least, without feeling like I'm limiting myself. But if you do have diabetes, or know someone who does, you may want to pass this resource along to them. Beer. Can it really survive an atomic blast? We did the research. Took hours to figure this out over the span of several days and weeks and months, but we did it for you, man. Windows 8, a better tablet OS? I'm going to geek out about this a bit more in just a moment, but we've talked about it in bits and pieces before. Windows 8 is coming down the pike. Whether you like it or not, people are going to be using it, so, yeah. Google will announce Street View for iOS web app tomorrow. So if you have iOS 6, Google Maps with Street View is coming. You had access to Google Maps. I actually recorded a little video just a week or two ago when they released iOS 6, showing you how easy it was to run Google Maps on iOS 6 using the web app. Street View is now coming within that web app, which for all intents and purposes, well, at least from my experience, works just as well as it did before. In fact, one of the things about Apple Maps that I like is that it's vector-based graphics. Takes less time to download, which is good, especially if you have to rely on your wireless network over Wi-Fi. Not wireless network over Wi-Fi, the wireless network provider you have instead of Wi-Fi. Apple suppliers in Asia begin producing smaller version of iPad. This is interesting. A smaller iPad, something that is, potentially, like this, only not so big. I mean, what else would a smaller iPad be? I think it'll be interesting if Apple does release it. And I think it makes sense for Apple to produce a smaller iPad, especially if they have the materials, they have the distribution, they have the platform. If they keep it at the original resolution of the first iPad, and of course just shrink the screen down, the image would be sharper because it's a smaller screen. You should have a higher pixel density. And they've got a platform that works, and app developers wouldn't need to redevelop anything. They may need to adjust a few things. I don't know how well it would be, or how well it would work to touch a smaller iPad screen. I know they've optimized their applications for this screen and a much larger screen, a 9.7-inch display, but in the middle, I don't know. But it makes sense for Apple to do this, if only because the tablet market share that Apple had a couple years ago has been slimmed down by a great margin. Kindle Fire came along last holiday season, huge seller. Now you've got the next versions of the Kindle Fire coming out, and of course Google's Nexus 7. So, if Apple is to ship a smaller tablet device, an iPad or an iPod Pro, or whatever they're going to call it, it's going to happen before Thanksgiving. It has to happen before the holiday shopping season. And I would say it would have to be at the $200 price point. I don't know if I could... I could see a smaller iPad succeeding at $300. $200, yeah, because then you are competing on, not just, certain type of technology, but price as well. And that is a huge deal with consumers. This $200 device, this $200 device, and this $200 device. You can make comparisons between all of them, but let's say you had the choice between all three, and price wasn't really a question because it's all the same price. If you are an iOS user and you didn't buy an iPad, but you do have an iPod Touch or an iPhone, you may be likely to buy another iOS product because it's familiar. You may already have the software that's going to work with that slightly larger screen. It makes sense. If, and this is a big if they can get it out before the holiday season, and if they can keep it right around the $200 or $250 price point, that's competitive, and it would certainly make it very interesting, because then the big contenders would be, at that point, Apple, Google, and don't count out Amazon. So I did want to geek out a little more about the whole Windows 8 thing, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, and I'm not calling Windows 8 a dead horse. It hasn't even lived yet. It's going to work well on touchscreen devices. I'm wondering, though, how many of you are going to rush out and get a touchscreen Windows 8 computer? How many of you are going to upgrade your classic desktop computer to Windows 8? I just don't see a lot of people doing that initially. I mean, especially if it's cost prohibitive. Maybe a new computer you would get with a touchscreen, and I would certainly recommend a Windows 8 computer with a touchscreen. I've tried it before. I think it's a good experience. I don't think Microsoft should have kept in legacy applications like things that you would view on the desktop. But I really don't know if people are going to be happy with upgrading their classic non-touch PCs to Windows 8. It is a better tablet OS. It's the tablet PC I would have wanted years ago when Microsoft first came up with the idea of a tablet PC. Of course, they didn't come up with an idea. Someone else did. Oh, wait, I can do that better. They didn't come up with an idea. Someone else did. Okay, whatever. When they came out with the tablet PC, a lot of people never heard of them before. So the bottom line is that I think Windows 8 will sell. It will sell well enough, but I think it will sell better for those who are on touchscreen devices. Other interesting news, Xbox Music is to launch on October 26th with free ad-supported streaming. It's kind of interesting news. It's really cool. It's going to help them gain more users, but we already have Pandora and Spotify and other free music streaming services. It's good news, but what platforms are they going to be releasing it on? Oh, it's only going to be for Windows 8. Okay. Oh, it's only going to be for Microsoft platforms. That can't be true. I mean, it could be true. That'd be crazy, though. I mean, Microsoft has software available for iOS. Have you used the Xbox software? I mean, I can't imagine it'd be too difficult to port the Xbox Music software on iOS or Android. Why does Microsoft care how you get it? As long as you get it, right? They need users. And if I can't get it on this device or my Android devices or any other device that isn't running a Microsoft platform, I'm not that interested in using it because I can get Pandora anywhere. So it would be crazy for Microsoft to launch this free or paid on their own platforms, eschewing others. That would be a bad, bad, bad move. 42% of U.S. internet users have a Facebook account. For Twitter, it's 16%. I'd be curious to know of those percentages, how many people are using Google+. I mean, forget about how many people are on Google+. I mean, have user accounts, because many of them were grandfathered in. But how many of them are active? And I'd be curious to know, and I'd imagine it would be somewhere, if I had to guess, between 5 and 10% on Google+. And I know you think I'm crazy for that, but it's a great community, dude. I get amazing active engagement over there, as much as I do on Facebook, as much as I do on Twitter, because I don't care where we connect, so long as we connect. Meg Whitman outlines HP's 5-year recovery plan, promises growth by 2015. Oh, HP. I'd love to help you. I can make some suggestions for you, give you some QA with anything that you might be thinking about doing, maybe save you from making a few mistakes in the consumer electronics space. I've done this before, or at least I've tried. I would want your products to succeed. Who wouldn't? I mean, we need competition. We need awesome products that we could buy. We want to buy your products. Give us a reason to buy your products. That's what we want. We're consumers. That's what we do. We consume. Before I let you go, I wanted to let you know that I am speaking at an event this weekend. It's in Tacoma, Washington. It is really for small business owners more than anything, and I'm going to be talking to them about social, how to use these tools that I use for Locker Gnome on a daily basis for their business, to find their influencers in their community. I do a lot of business consulting with companies who don't know what they're doing. Or maybe they've hired someone who doesn't know what they're doing, or maybe they think they know what they're doing and they realize I could be doing it better. Everybody could be doing it better. So that's the kind of advice that I typically will give to businesses. That is one thing. The second thing, I'm going to be using this software. It's free. It's for the iPad. And I found out about this a few weeks ago at a local startup conference. It's so cool. It's free. And what it does is allows you to create these beautiful presentations. You start typing in a few keywords, like 2 lines or 1 line. It goes out to the web, finds Creative Commons licensed images to pull into the presentation. Then you have a new slide. So you don't overwhelm people with each slide, so they listen to you rather than paying attention to random bullet points and boring slides on your presentation. It's called Haiku Deck. You've got to check this out. Absolutely free. I met the guy who created it, and I was amazed. I'm going to be using it for the first time this weekend. And if you do want my business advice, cool. I'm available for you and your business. I can consult. My group can consult with you. I'm also available on nomies.com. That's pretty affordable for a year's access to me and my intelligence. And I know you may be thinking, Chris, you have no intelligence. Well, then why are you watching this video if you don't think I'm that smart? Unless you like pointing out every mistake that I make, because, hey, I'm not perfect. But I'm also now a member of 12 Coaches, and that is a service that allows you to subscribe and get access to coaches. So I'm like a technology coach for people, and we also have business leadership coaches and customer service coaches, 12 coaches in total, and you get access to our intelligence, and we release new videos on an ongoing basis every month, and it's actually very affordable. If you are looking for a coach for you or your professional life, you may want to join 12 Coaches. Go.tagjag.com/12coaches. Go.tagjag.com/12coaches. I don't know what that last facial expression was. It just seemed like a good thing to do at the end of that particular tease. But thank you for watching as far as you did and listening, for supporting us as we try to support you to talk about today's tech trends and, really do our best to answer the questions that you might have. Haven't had a lot of them come in lately that we haven't already addressed in videos over time or certainly recently. But we appreciate your comments. We appreciate the questions. We appreciate the likes, because that's not saying you may like this video. It's saying you appreciate the things that we do for you. And then, of course, we appreciate the shares. Because when you share something we've created for you, you are really showing that you like it. This is good, but sharing, that's even better. We need this. This is the new symbol for the share. It's like a heart. Because you're saying you love the content that we do for you on LockerGnome.com, that we do for you in this YouTube channel. We cannot do it without you. We'll see you later.